Oh shit. L'chaim. Shabbat shalom, friends and family and strangers who watch me for fun. I appreciate everyone's viewership as I continue to use the funniest accent that I can do to read the character of a Nazi. Thank you so much for putting up with the terrible technical difficulties in between this shit. So without further ado, once again here with Rakim, reading the Atlantropa articles starting from page 22. Faux, 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 faux. I don't know if it's possible to say faux enough times. We shall continue. As the minutes roll past, we move away from the pungent odor of the sea. The sound of the waves crashing against the edge disappears in the noise of the human traffic. With every step, dust becomes more prevalent on the white ancient floor. Wind begins to howl and cry. Dry air overtakes the smell of the sea. There is no horizon in front of me. Instead, the blue sky simply meets a small white barrier. It's a wall that goes up to my waist. On this wall is the line of flagpoles, each flying. After about 10 minutes of navigation, we made our way to the literal edge of this concrete place. As I looked down past the white barrier caked in sand that holds the entire sea, which we have just traversed by ferry. I looked down the curved face of a structure that has remained stable and intact since the days of the first Aryans. This dam is the arrival point for most people traveling through the vast desert beyond. Through the rippling desert air, I locate the vast array of ships lined in a row against the dam's edge. Those are the true docks, each ship packed with special cargo, preparing to sail forthright into a vast expanse of desert in salt. From the bottom docks onward, there is nothing more than endless rolling hills of orange desert. I take in the sight of ships curving over the dunes, going off into the horizon. Long strings of dusty clouds trail behind them as their treads slowly carry them south into the basin beyond. Welcome to the kiln, I mutter to my brother, reaching out a hand to a magnificent sight. This show is different than how I pictured it, Ulrich remarked. What do you expect? Ulrich gestures his hand towards the ships lined against the far below. I point to the largest of the hulking masses of steel. There she is. There's the howling dock. She's quite a big one, Ulrich remarks. Well, there's a reason we've never needed to call in the drop, I say. We stay there for a while, simply gazing out into the orange expanse of sea. After that, we turn around and head to the statue that has loomed over us since we first arrived at the docks. Its facade has been worn down by centuries of dust and sand, but that didn't stop it from being magnificent. I looked up upon the calm structure for centuries has looked off into the desolate as blah 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 blah. Fuck me. Endless desert world. Sharp cheekbones defile a strong, handsome face. It was wavy hair, similar to that of the ancient Greeks. Its tall body is draped in garments and chains, yet still remains composed. One hand points toward the sky, as another clasps onto the documents that created all the dams of Atlantropa. We were always taught that he was truly perfect, ideal Aryan, the man who started our entire race, Standing here underneath this statue, I can't help but feel the warmth inside of my heart. Such simply gives off the aura of a father, like he's looking down at his people who are prospering. What do you think he would have thought of this? Oh, God. What do you think he would have thought of this? Ulrich asks me. I squat and wrinkle my brow to get a clearer view of the statue's face. I take in the meticulous details of the ropes. Every inch tells a story through a series of symbols and images about the people of Europe. It is the story that culminates in the Reich and the rise of the Aryans, the people. Fuck the Aryans. Fuck the Aryans. I just want to say that. I don't know how much he would think of large statues of himself, I reply. I mean, what do you think he would have thought about this desert? Do you think he would still have gone through with constructing the dams if he knew the sea would just become one large desert? My eyebrows raise and I look back down to Ulrich, his face still upturned. I assume so, I guess, not really knowing much of what he would have wanted. Peace was assured, everyone came together so it worked out. I reply, gazing up once more. Then we look at the stone engraving that stands at the base of the statue. It's a mural of two men, the one in the statue and another, the architect, both grasping a stone talent with their one hand. Radiate from the stone as a group of men look on in the background. The stone is a single phrase, the Atlantropa articles. Underneath the depiction of the two men is a short poem engraved into the marble. I light my path. Hang on, let me do this in kind of a fun voice. Fuck everybody. I light my path with the flame of reason. I warm my heart. Oh no, it says it's in memoriam to Adolf Hitler, so I gotta do it all snivelly and evil.
Snivelly.
Yes. I light my path with the flame of reason. I warm my heart with the pride of race. Love my Führer for all eternal. For his life is what gave me grace.
Bro, this shit is impossible.
That's how I feel. It's hard to do that evil voice for long. In memoriam to the eternal Satan of Hitler, the great and powerful murderer of all people. Scales across the desert like a towering cliff. His sheer size makes it appear more like a mutual formation than a man-made, as if the Reich had nothing to do with this dam, and Oith had sets upon it. Sunlight peeks in through ridiculous fashion. Rays of light from the setting sun crawl glisten. The sand that has collected on the thing encompassing his usually gaunt face. Wrapped around his body is a series of light brown scarves. Draped over his shoulder is a dark violet. Did Fossa ever have a chance to tell you the story about his time in the Italian sands? Ulrich asks, breaking the slight lull in the conversation. When he was stationed there? I turn my head to face him. His identification number into a story. It scans around. My brother concludes to me, his voice calm and full of purpose. The machinery begins to fade away. That speech he's trying to give for his brother. You know, supposed to say what a puzzle. He'll be the night on our trip. Yes, we are. All hands to stations, I reply. All hands to stations. Volker radios the crew. Sirens blare in the dock. Yeah, like it's just sad. Like this is all desert, 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 desert. And there's where they started off. All that